want to discuss literature in English, and this class is strictly for foundation class in literature. I want to establish what literature is and certain literary terms in literature in English. Let's start with the definition of the word literature itself. What is literature? Yes, what is literature? Literature, in my definition of literature, is a written work of art which uses language, plot, setting, characters, etc. to give us a picture of life. I will explain what I mean by this. As a literature is a written work of art. It doesn't end there. There are several works of art: dancing, sculpturing, drawing, painting, etc. are all works of life. But when we talk about literature, we are talking about the written work of art. So those ones we find in books, which uses what? Language. There must be a language used in literature. That's one of the reasons we have literature in English. We also have literature in Yoruba, literature in Igbo, literature in French, etc. Plots. There is a story told. That story follows a particular pattern. The pattern in which that story is told is what we mean by plot. The setting, two major types of setting. We talk about setting of time, setting of place. This is talking about where did this story take place and within which period. Is it during the 21st century, 18th century, 10th century, etc. You will see that there are different settings in different literature work. There must be a particular place that literature work is addressing. There must be a particular setting of time that it's talking about. There are characters. When we talk about characters, it talks about the individual persons and animals involved in that literature work, etc. What that means is that there are several other things involved in literature, and we are going to be looking at them under the literary terms. What do all of these give us? They give us a picture of life. So keywords I need you to note in your definition of literature: the written work of art, language, plot, setting, characters, and many more to give us a picture of life. What do I mean by giving us a picture of life? You may not have been to certain places in the world, but when you read certain books from these particular places in the world, you will realize that after reading those books, it gives you a clear picture of things happening in that particular place. None of us at this time was born in the 16th or 17th century. We were not alive, but we read books about things that happened during that period. And that gives us a particular picture of life of that particular time and age. Okay? Another aspect of literature I need us to look at is genres of literature. Good. Genres of literature, you look here, I have number one, genre, alternative names. There are three genres actually, and I'm going to discuss those three genres. Each of them has an alternative name, that is another name. Now, there is a name given to each writer of each of these genres of literature. Then I'm going to tell you certain significances of each of them, what makes them different from the other, and what you can easily use to identify this particular genre of literature. Number one, the three, I call them three P's. Three P's. Each starts with P. Number one, I said, is play. Another name for play is drama. Okay? Now, when we talk about play or drama, the writer of a play or drama is a playwright. A playwright. And what is the significance of a play? A play is usually written in acts and scenes. So when you pick up a book, not every book you pick is a novel. There are books called playbooks. If that story is written in acts and scenes, you see act 1, scene 2, scene 4, and so on, such book is called a playbook, not a novel. Now, the second genre of literature is prose, otherwise known as novel. Good. Now, the writer of a novel is called a novelist. a novelist. And one significance of this is that it's written in chapters and paragraphs. A prose, also known as novel, the writer is called a novelist. When you pick some books and you see them written in chapter 1, chapter 2, different paragraphs and so on, you call such a prose or novel. And the writer of such is what we call novelist. Now the last but not the least is poem. Another name for poem is poetry. Please take note of the pronunciation. Poetry, not poetry. Okay? Poem or poetry. The writer is called a poet. And one thing that is significant about poem is that it's written in lines and stanzas. Lines and stanzas. Oh yes. Through with this topic for now. I'm going to leave you with a very simple assignment. I need to ask you to find out the meaning of certain literary terms. They are very important and very simple. Okay? Okay, this is a simple assignment. Define the following terms: dialogue, setting, theme, plot, climax, protagonist, antagonist, prologue, epilogue, and conflict. Just give me a simple definition of each of these terms. Thank you very much. See you in the next class.